People, we're back with another episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. We've got so much to talk about today. It's going to be an awesome episode. And so, what are we going to start off with for our first topic?
I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the absolute state of affairs that Maze of Muertos has caused.
Yes. It's weird to think we had the the Blue Eyes stuff last. Was it last? No, I'm saying last year. When did that Blue Eyes deck come out?
Yeah, it was last year. Started last year. Around the same time we're in there.
Yeah. So you had the Blue Eyes stuff come out, and it shook up the meta. And then now we've got the DM stuff coming out, and it's battering the format. If your deck
differently,
if you've got extra slots, even if you don't have extra slots in your deck, you just have to put that wanted card in. It's flipping ridiculous, man. The shit that stuff does is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely mental. I didn't think, I'll be the first with my hands up, I didn't think it would pop off in the way that it has. I was like, oh yeah, Diabell decks will play it, Dark Magician will play it, obviously that'll be it. But yeah, man, Yummy, Orcus, I'm sure there's more decks that I can't think of. Anything that's got the extra deck space and the main stuff in the room to be playing Ready Fusion or a one-hit package is just going absolutely off. It's fucking crazy, man. And the price of these cards, I won't make this a price discussion thing because I don't think that's what we're going to be getting onto too much today. But yeah, if you bought in this set early, you took a rare W on pre-orders, man. Shout out to everyone who pre-ordered from us, man.
To be fair, what are they now? Because I got them, so I didn't buy them as pre-order. I bought them the day they came out, but I bought them. I think I spent 50 on my Timaeus, and I spent 70 on the Dark Magician of Destruction. But I want to know what they're sitting at now, because
so DMod as of right now doesn't exist on eBay in the UK. I ain't checked card market.
You're right.
The only gaze I've seen that exists in the UK has been on a website for that's not eBay, Unicorn Cards, Big Orbit, that kind of thing. I can't remember which one it was, but it was there for £70, and I've seen them reaching upwards of 65 on trade groups and stuff, which is, considering they were pre-selling for 20, is crazy.
That is pre-selling for 20 is nuts.
Gaze was pre-selling for 20. Dark Magician was pre-selling for about 50. So that one's been on a steady incline. But yeah.
Do you know what the really frustrating thing about this is? Konami know that they know what they've done in it, and they just haven't said anything. They'll just sat there sipping tea, watching everybody sweat and going to their overdraft to buy D-mods. In America, they're just looking at us it sounds like a you problem, but
the secrets ratio in it.
Yeah, I could have at least said sorry, or we're gonna try and fix it for the next set, or maybe it will get printed somewhere, just something. And they'll just literally just ignored us and just be you know what, sucks, innit? But we like to make money, so just buy the case. It's
you know that's on purpose. They are 100% do that on purpose, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah. It is sort of a perfect storm as well, with all of the Overframe collection cards being revealed, and the Dark Magician support in that being actually really, really good. Dark Magician is a tiered strategy in the OCG, which is cool, as really, really cool. But them prices are going nuclear, man.
Nuts. The weird thing I would actually say is that unless you're intending to play and I wouldn't, Yummy wouldn't even be the deck I pick now, because I think next ban list is probably going to get slaughtered. But unless you're really intending to play one of those Azamina decks or whatever, I would pick up the Dark Magician cards. I would stay the heck away from Wanted and stuff. That card, it's surviving lot. That card has been two really good strategies. Every time I see you drop that quick play, it's your days are numbered. Man.
Yeah, wanted is wanted for the ban list. It's not long.
Welcome back 2024, man.
I don't know what the thing is. It's when I look at the engine, it's weird as well. The engine is so strange because it's so hard to hit any part of the engine that effectively. So which to me says that you probably just have to take everything to one wanted, one witch, and that way you don't kill that as a main engine for But the problem with even one wanted, one witch or something like that is that the funny thing is, if you go one wanted, one witch, you don't actually change anything about Yummy Azamina. You've given them less starters technically, but Yummy combo bridges into the Dark Magician stuff for free anyway, so it doesn't change anything. So it's
you just play 3 Deception, because that's a starter as well.
Exactly, you just play 3 Deception, so it's maybe I could see Witch potentially getting banned, for example. Let me phrase it. If Konami want to specifically stop its synergy with that engine, you ban Witch, and then that way, once it only searches the Snake Eye, Diabell card, or whatever it's called, again, it doesn't really affect Azamina that much in White Forest, because they can still do all the Asmina plays, but it just means that now you don't get a witch that turns into a demon, blah blah blah. But it's a lore deck, and Konami doesn't usually like hitting the lore monsters, so I don't know if I could really, if they wanted to balance, basically they would do that. I don't know if I could see them doing that because I don't think they care about the balance that much.
Nah. Can't see them hitting it yet anyway. But yeah, fucking hell, man. Like I see a wanted activate, and now the fear of God just goes in there.
Yeah, as a player, it puts you in such a horrible game state because, so I was playing White Forest at regional, and so obviously I'm playing this engine, and it's both against and when you're playing it, it's so crazy because before, when a witch was coming on field, I was kind of happy because my opponents just chucked a card from their hand, so that's already good. And then it's like, all right, safe, imperm witch, or they've chucked a card from their hand, they do witch, they put deception, they tribute a card, like Ash, lovely, you just got rid of 2 cards for no reason. But now it's like, just seeing the witch on board, and witch, whether it's witch or wanted, obviously it doesn't matter, it's the same thing because they're going to get to a spell. Just seeing the witch now is so much pressure. So it's like I would lead into my enemy board with like witch, and my yummy opponent is going straight into cookie to get off the board and stuff because they know that if it stays on the board, it is curtains. It's like it's already doing a huge amount of value. So like it's really made witch such a way higher quality card than she was before, and she was already a fairly high quality card. And wanted, I mean, it's gone through the roof now. It's an absolutely nuts card.
Do you think Do you think witch is the problem, or do you think dragoon's the problem?
I don't think either witch or dragoon are problems per se. I would say witch is probably more of a problem than dragoon because dragoon, it's weird when you're playing that engine. You don't actually like dragoon as a negate. You usually hold it. You hold it because you can, but you also hold it because dragoon is a very costly negate.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's also a lot easier to out, especially with droplet. Every single deck is playing droplets, so your dragoon is getting outed if it's on board probably. But I would say that witch is probably more of the problem in that she enables a lot by herself. Like the problem, or again, I'm saying witch is the problem. Wanted and witch are the problem at the beginning. So yeah, if I don't know, like if I was gonna ban dragoon as well, like when I used to think dragoon was broken was when my opponent was summoning with Verte and popping my cards.
Yeah. That was horrible.
Yeah, because there was a point where you see dragoon and you know you're dead. You're dead that turn because dragoon's gonna pop attack. Now it's like you summon dragoon, it's just a negate. Like I'm not that scared of dragoon. So.
Yeah, it's basically Millenniumized restrict on crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it sticks around, it's like it's Doshin's.
Which is
ironic that Dark Magician like actually gets a pop with it if you summon it off the gaze, sending the original Dark Magician back, which is cool.
And that's the thing. In Dark Magician, it's actually like Gaze of Timaeus because in Dark Magician it's very fair because in Dark Magician you can summon it with OG DM and it will get its pop and blah blah blah, or you can summon it with another card and it will stay. But Gaze of Timaeus banishes at the end of the next turn. So if you summon it on your turn, it's coming at the end of your opponent's turn. If you summon it on your opponent's turn, it's like it's not staying around. Yeah. So yeah, it's not a scary card at all.
I think it's sorry, Dan. I was gonna say I think what I wouldn't say it's disappointing, but what the frustrating thing is, it feels like another like Mitsurugi situation where decks are just gonna shoehorn the engine into like whatever. So you're just gonna be like, I don't know, Magnet Warriors, Dark Magician. You're gonna see something ridiculous like that. Do you know what I mean? And it just works. Like I'm not
do you know why this is funny? I'm sorry, just to interrupt. Because on my screen right now is Edo Pro with my Magnet Warrior deck, and I just started putting a 1/2 engine in it.
This is what I'm saying. Like, by the way, folks, we have not discussed this before the episode.
Just put it on my screen. I'm feeling the pressure.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, it's just gonna be everywhere, and that like it really, it just like homogenizes deck build. It's like, can your deck play like the D-mod stuff? Yes. Then effectively, it's a better deck. Can it play it? No. Then really, should you be playing that deck? Like, it just becomes binary. Like, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well because even if your deck can't like benefit from the wanted discards and the Diabell discards, and things like that, like if you don't want to get the Dragoon and the extra negate from Illa Sylvia, you can still just play 3 Ready Fusion.
Yeah. Sandwich.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And ironically, like you hit wanted, people are going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just play 3 Ready Fusion. It's like give up 1 Omni negate, but I get 4 extra cards in my main deck.
Yeah.
So it really does pose the question, like, how do you stop it? Like, I do want to ask though, do you think it is as crazy as everyone thinks it is, or do you think it is a case of a bit of new toy syndrome?
No, I think it's good. I think Link Ones are broken, right? It's a Link One. So
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
So I think it is very good. I don't think it is. If you look at the power level of the format, I don't think it's special. Like, there's a reason why like Yummy Azumina is not now the best deck. Suddenly, it was really good before and it's really good now, but not everyone's even playing it. But it's definitely like it's definitely one to watch. I think the ban list is the real thing that will kick it, because if the format power level goes down and they don't hit it,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's when we got a problem, right? But if we stay with the format right now, I mean, Drake Top Brand is putting 12 cards on the board.
Yeah.
So like in the grand scheme of things, one card giving you 2 Omni Gates is weird that we're at that stage, right? Where a card gives you 2 Omni Gates by itself, and it's like, oh, that's kind of good, but look at this other stuff. Yeah.
It's weird. Well, I feel like it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a little bit more frustrating for the players that just don't have like. I'll use myself as an example. Like, I don't own the engine. I could buy it, but like at the moment, I don't feel like it's justifiable for me to spend that kind of money on that.
Not at all. Not at
But
all.
I know I'm gonna come up against it, and like that will literally decide the game. Do you know what I'm saying? And that I find that frustrating. Like, my opponent objectively could be like not as technical a player, but just has the DMod engine and just can win a game off the back of that. And that experience I find frustrating. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's probably what's gonna get people to say, "Oh, this needs to be banned," just because of that interaction. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had this before, which is we've had it before.
Time and time again, it keeps happening. Yeah. Konami, they love it. They print that engine to put that nice secret, and then we've also obviously had that EU short printing nonsense. So I don't know if you call it short printing, but the less secrets on our side as well. So we have even less here. Like it is really annoying.
Yeah, it's very not. Let me tell you, you've not faced frustration when you're about 8 cases deep and you've got a stack of chibis this big and you've got a stack of D-mods this big.
Oh god. yeah, exactly. Oh wait, actually, wait. Is this the set with the chibis you just said?
Yeah. So there's 4 secrets in a box, but 2 of them in the EU regions are designated to be chibis, and the other 2 are like, from the card pool, like D-mods, pumpkins, what have you.
Is it just me, or are these like dead on arrival? I haven't heard one person mention the chibi.
Yeah, dead on arrival.
It's hilarious. I actually completely forgot about that. Yeah, I guess those exist.
I mean, it's great for people who want to buy them because they're like next to nothing.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
But yeah,
more things for this set though. So obviously we already saw one deck, which I remember mentioning before, that has a bit of potential, and we've seen it do quite well. Is Magnet Warriors. So Magnet Warriors was already pretty strong before, and then in this set they got Omega Plus. So Omega Plus, it's not an amazing card. Not everyone's even playing it, but essentially it's a bit like I don't even know. It's like what's that card called? Shavara, the Unchained level 6 card.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So it's a bit like that, and we've seen Magnet Warriors continually kind of get tops, and it's interesting because again we're in a format with cards like droplets existing, but it just turns out Nat Beast is a really good card. Like, having an efficient engine that spits out Nat Beast is still going to be good, because if we don't see droplets, well, have fun letting your opponent mill 10 cards for free. Like, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's not even just Nat Beast, right? Like, the floodgate effect of changing everything into Earth can be quite techy, and they've got a lot of weird interactions based around that. Yeah. So I think it's not just Nat Beast and Prey, but obviously Nat Beast is a house, so that does help.
Yeah, it definitely does. But 100%. Because one of the nice things about this format is frustrating because there's just not really a good board breaker answer to the format. But this deck can bring out its fusion with like 4 different 1-card combos and like a bunch of different 2-card combos, and so you get, once that fusion's out, everything becomes Earth, which means no matter what your board is, it's super polyable.
Yeah.
So like it's so frustrating when you're against that deck, because it's like, as soon as that Plasma Magnum comes out, it's a bit peak for you. Like, if they've got super play in hand, they're taking off whatever's the most annoying for them.
Yeah, I do really like the fact as well that it is probably the cheapest, let's say tier 2, like deck in a long time. You can pick up this entire core in it thanks to Maze for like even with the Duotarians, like you can pick up a whole core for like £15, which is a huge W. Like for anyone wanting to get into a competitive scene. Like the deck might be a little bit hard, but like learn it in it.
I think.
Oh, sorry. You go for it. You go for it first, bro.
I was gonna say, I learning it is probably the best thing about this deck, because there's so many different ways you can play. I've seen it with Fiendsmith. I've seen it pure. I've seen it with Adamantipator. I'm leaning more into like the synchros. It can just go in so many different directions, and the quick play spell makes it so flexible. Like, I've been testing it myself. I'm not too sure which direction to take it, but I feel like pure, there's a lot of viability there, just because you just got so much space for non-engine, and then again, turning everything to earth is a bit rough. I think, especially with the monster that does the snatch steal. I can't remember its name now. Tellurian, that's it. That card's ridiculous. And then another thing that I've noticed, the two that it banishes and then it brings them back on your opponent's turn can mess about with like the battle phase. So like you can make it attack one, and then one hits the graveyard and then reborns another one, and then you can tag out the. It's crazy. Like, it is a lot of fun to play. Not gonna lie.
That's what I mean. There's so many different intricate interactions with the deck. I think for anyone who is wanting to, maybe get into something a little bit more competitive, like I feel like Magnet Warriors has it all in it. Like, it's got a lot of room for non-engine. Like, it's fun. Like, there's a lot of different ways to learn it, and you've got the nostalgia factor from it being like, an anime archetype. So nothing but good things to say about Magnet Warriors.
I'd compare it to almost like a modern day Salamangreat, basically, where it's like of learning Yu-Gi-Oh fundamentals and stuff, because it's actually a very straightforward deck in terms of like the initial combos, but then it's like, as Jimothy said, it's like the ceiling is mad. Like, there's so much you can do with a deck, and it will really teach you a lot about the game. And I don't normally like hand trap decks as a way to teach people the game, because it teaches you to rely on non-engine in a way that's not, I don't think it's a good way to learn the game. But this deck is a little bit different because its engine does a lot. You can actually just play this with a lot of engine and do a lot of cute things. But then you've also got that option to shove in a non-engine and actually be competitive. So fantastic deck. I think it's going to do well. I don't know if we'll see it again. I don't know. I think like it's still missing just that edge. Like, it doesn't do anything unfair or broken. It just does a lot of things pretty well, and so it's still missing that edge. And I don't know if we'll see it top 4 like a YCS. I don't know if we'll see it win a YCS. I don't think so. I do think we'll see it to carry on killing regionals and things like that, and occasionally get top 64, top 32 at YCS.
Solid there.
I'd say that's a completely fair statement. But I suppose you got to think as well on that side. Are people who are just getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh really going to YCSs and like those higher level of tournaments? So a regional is probably like the highest thing they're going to be aiming for. So
good point.
But another card that was in Maze with Myatos, before we get onto our main meat and potatoes of the podcast, a card that hasn't really done anything that I'm really surprised about is Illusion Gate.
Yes, that card is cracked. It's just not the right format for it.
Okay.
But, so Illusion Gate, for people who don't know, it's pay half your life points, fuck up your whole opponent's board, destroy every monster, then summon one monster from their graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. The card is amazing, and also it's got a restriction on it that says you can only apply this effect once per duel. The reason why that's really good is because if your opponent negates this card, you can still use it again, because it says apply that effect. So it makes the card really, really, really good in terms of like, it was a bit like Ultimate Slayer, where it's like when you open multiple copies of it, you can just keep using it. It's really great. And paying half your life points, who cares? You're going second anyway, so you're trying to kill them. You're about to nuke their whole board. So the card is really fantastic. I think, we're in a format where the power level is really, really high and spells are just getting negated. If your spell doesn't say your opponent can't respond, it's probably not resolving. And then also just a lot of the boards at the moment are a bit sticky and can float and stuff. But I think there will be a format for this card. It is a really, really, really good card. I just think it's a timing thing.
I do think it will see more play. I think there's a few checks and balances in the format which is preventing it from shining. Like, Lunar Light's still a thing. Like, do you know what I mean? And then that just
Dragoon as well.
Dragoon, do you know what I mean? Like, so I do think once those start seeing less play, we'll start seeing a little bit more of it, because it's just a super solid board breaker in my opinion. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, and I do like the way Konami is designing. So This is a topic for another video because no, I refuse to even say it. I don't like the way Konami's designing cards. I will never say that, but I do like specifically this card because I like the fact that it's a card that like there is a punishment for using it going second, because what this card is basically saying is, look, we're going to give you a huge amount of advantage, but if you don't kill your opponent, you are definitely dead next turn because you just paid half your life points. So I do like that kind of it's like high risk, high reward kind of card. I think that's a smart thing to do, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think if you haven't got a set, like they're for a secret from a side set, they're pretty reasonably priced at the moment. So I'd be looking to grab some. Not a market watch podcast, but yeah.
Yes, for sure. But yeah, should we get onto that main topic that everyone's been talking about?
Yeah, Fabs, lay it on us, man.
Yes, so I guess the big thing is really should Ash Blossom be banned? And so we've seen a lot of different sides to it. Father did a really cool video essentially showing a lot of the different pro players' takes and things like that on it. And it really comes down to, I guess there's two schools of thought. One group of people say, hey, look, it's just Ash, don't ban it. It's not an amazing card. It's a 1-for-1 trade. It's fair and balanced, I guess. The other side of people who say, yeah, Ash is fair and balanced card, but when you're going first and you have Ash, it's really, really unfair. So, like, this shouldn't be a thing. And so, yeah, what do we think, guys? Should Ash be banned?
You know what, Fabs? I'm gonna actually ask you to tee off with your thoughts because I've got quite a few things that I think about, like with this.
Yeah, so for me, yes, I think it should be banned. I think Ash Blossom as a card, I've never much liked it, even ignoring the Molchami thing. So I fully agree with the notion of the fact that it's called by the grade for Molchamis to me is enough to ban it. It just makes it, to me, like anything, when a hand trap starts becoming so good going first, and it just starts to just destroy decision space where it's like, it's not should I run Ash in my deck, it's how do I cut cards to rush Ash in my deck. You have to run Ash going first because it's broken. You get to stop Molchami, so if you lose to Molchami, it's broken. But that I don't even like it outside of that because I don't like cards that blanket negate like that. I think that with a card like Veiler, with a card like Imperm, there are ways to play around these cards that I think is fair. With Ash, really, and this has been true since it came out, it's just, did you have the extender? Like, there's not really anything happening. And so I don't like the fact that I can branded fusion and you click Ash and I lose. Like, I don't think that's how it should be. I think I should have some room to interact with you, and I think Ash doesn't allow people to do that. I do understand the rationale behind, like, it's not fair for every deck to do everything and blah, blah, blah. And that is true, but I think I like right now the system we're in where there's not a good specific board breaker that hits every board. That's how it should be, right? You should be rewarded for making the right decisions. And Ash doesn't really allow for that. Ash is just play it because it's going to negate something in your opponent's deck. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Could you not make the same argument for, being able to dodge and target negation with Veiler and Imperm and stuff? Obviously, Fallen and Virtuous is an example of a card that's really good through helping people play through stuff like that. Could you not, in theory, I'm not saying it is the right argument, but could you not make the argument for the same thing for Bell or Morna or Nibiru or, Strike, for example?
No, for Bell maybe, but I think Bell is a narrow enough use case that I can remove it from Ash.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I would say that the fact that Bell does, Bell I think no, because it's narrow enough use cases. Morna's Veiler, so no. And also Morna, for example, one thing I really, really, really like about Morna is that even though you can like Morna things, you only have a small window to actually do it when the card is summoned. So again, it narrows the space. Nib, no, I think Nib is balanced. Sunstrike is a trap. So no, I think none of those cards. Again, the answer is always, if you could choose to put 3 copies of your card in any format, all of the cards you listed, the only one you pick is Ash. It's not even a close choice. Ash is the only one where there was a brief period like a year and a half ago where it wasn't that good. Yeah.
Okay, so I think Ash should and shouldn't be banned. And the reason I say that is because it's a classic card that has just aged really badly. So in its inception, the idea behind Ash seemed to be okay. It was there was things that you could Ash before, and it didn't feel as impactful. I'm pretty sure when it came out, there was a few people that were speaking about how they may not have even used it in their deck, whatever. But as time has gone on, I feel like Ash has just become more and more important. And the reason why I think it should be banned now is because of the role it plays, just like you were saying, Fabs, about it being Call by the Grave for the Molchamis. I think that's a rubbish application. And I find it frustrating that it just does that now. Like, that's its primary use, especially when you go first. But the reason why I don't think it should be banned is because we need, just a little bit like Joel, we need a bit of a replacement. Like, a lot of players are complaining, I just want to be able to play my deck and do my things. But I don't like the fact that some decks, if you don't have an answer for what they're doing, they just build an ignorant board. They don't care whatever hand traps you. They just build enough interaction just to say no, and then you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh. So there needs to be something to fulfill its space, but not necessarily a 1-for-1 replacement, in my opinion. And that's why I'm kind of like on the fence with it. Like, I don't like where it is now in the format. It didn't used to be as bad. I mean, I remember a time when players weren't even using Ash. They took it out because it was just like, oh, it's rubbish. Like, it's just a 1-for-1. Do you know what I mean? Now we're at a point where, like, I wish I could play 4 or 5 Ashes because I'll have one for the Molchami on my turn, and then I'll have one for your turn. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's got to that point. So, yeah, I feel like if they're gonna ban it, we need a solid replacement that kind of checks and balances, like something akin to like a Dominus Purge, which I think is very well designed, but something that more decks can use, like, generically. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's where I stand with it.
I think the Dominus Purge argument is interesting because I played Blue Eyes for a pretty large period of last year, and obviously that's a deck that can play Purge and Ash. And let me tell you, like, Purge is nowhere near as impactful as Ash. Yeah. Like, the amount of blanket things that Ash covers that Purge doesn't. Purge is a great card. Like, I'm not, like, by any means taking anything away from Dominus Purge. If your deck can play, you probably should in it. Like, but I think Ash just has that many applications where it has become sort of like, I don't know, like the solemn judgment almost of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! To a point where, look, I don't follow a lot of Genesis, I don't watch a lot of Genesis content, but I know that that's a hand trap that people don't really tend to play in Genesis because of the pointed aspect. And I think the pointed aspect of Genesis is a good way of Konami showing, okay, we know that these cards are problems. We just don't know how to address it in the TCG, which is obviously the main component. And I really like the point that you brought up, Andre, about it being sort of a necessary evil, because anytime anyone gives me the argument that Droll needs to be banned, that X, Y, Z needs to be banned, I always show them a picture of Grapha, because if you ban all these cards, Dark World is going to rip the floor from underneath you. Like, no, and that is worse. You can't tell me that you would rather go to locals and get hand looped 5 times than go to locals and get Ash like 4 times. Yeah, it's just categorically untrue. You say that to me, I'm calling you a liar. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting for me because I remember I started playing when Ash was the chase card in it. It was like £60-70, and I'm sure that Fabs, you'll remember this as well. Like those times, and it really did feel like it was a case of, my opponent just won because they had the Ash, and it was like, they paid more, blah, blah, blah. Now that's not an argument. Ash is in every other structure deck. It's had 1,000 reprints. Like, you can buy one copy of the Legendary 5Ds deck and get a playset, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, like, and I'm happy that it is accessible, because I do think that cards like that should be accessible to a player on any level. But I think the question that I'm actually going to pose is, do you think people would be having this argument if the Molchamis didn't exist?
No, because that's like, well, sorry, I think some people might be having it. I think it wouldn't have as much weight if the Chamis didn't exist, because to me that's what makes Ash so good right now. Like, if the Molchamis didn't exist, Ash would have probably carried on to fall off. But as decks, when you get cards like Cupsy that just do too much off one card, one Ash is never going to cut it. But yeah, the Molchamis is literally the main reason why I think it should be banned. Because, yeah, it just invalidates them.
Yeah, I do hear it, but then I suppose I'd have to ask the question: are the Molchamis a bigger problem? Because if the Molchamis are so good that you have to play Ash,
No, because I think no Charmies are good card design. I think
Yeah,
Charmies are good card.
for the record.
Yeah, so no, like I think the problem is Ash is part of a relic of old hand trap design that's bad. Fundamentally speaking, going first, I don't think you should be able to have excess interruptions in your hand that your opponent can't interact with or even know what they are. I think that's bad gameplay design. And I think that most of the hand traps fail. Like loads of hand traps have issues for different reasons, but one of the main problems with hand traps is that specifically that I have interruptions in my hand, you don't know what it is, so you can't play around it. And I think that the Molchamis are modern hand traps that don't have that issue. That's actually what, funnily enough, I don't think the Dominus cards are very well designed. I think they have some good restrictions on them, but part of the problem with the Dominus cards is that sometimes you can use them on your turn. I don't like it. I think if I'm going first, a hand trap should be the last thing I should be able to use. So yeah, I definitely think that yes, that the Molchamis are the reason why. The Molchamis not existing would mean that Ash shouldn't be banned, but they do exist. And if I was to pick one to go, Ash for sure. Ash 100%. And just to add to that as well, if you thought Maxi should be banned before, in my opinion, you should think Ash should be banned now because it's the same thing, right? It's the same reason why we used to hate Maxi before, because you're going first, I chuck a Maxi on top of my board. It's the same thing. I'm going first, I have an Ash to stop your Molchami, or I have an Ash on top of my board. It's the exact same concept of the problem isn't going second so much, it's when you're going first and you have it.
Yeah. Same kind of
what you're saying about the Maxi argument, but I don't agree with it. But I'll let Jimothy finish. Sorry, before I close down.
It's the same argument that we're having with Droll. Like, Droll going first is just absolutely busted. It's ridiculous. Behind a board is unplayable. And I feel like the Molchamis, they do a good job of, right, I'm not restricting you from playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but how much do you wanna build your board at the detriment of my hand size? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a nice trade-off because there's a decision tree then. So players have to pivot and like make a decision on, all right, under a Molchami, I can maybe make a couple of interactions and I'll have to stop there. Otherwise, I'm going to give my opponent overwhelming interaction because they're just going to have a hand size of like 10. Do you know what I mean? And that's good card design because it's forcing your decision tree. Whereas Ash is just like, can I Ash it? Yes. If you got a Molchami, I've got an Ash. Throw your Molchami down, I'm going to throw my Ash down. I'm going to carry on with my combo. And I feel like that's where we get into it. And it's because it's aged so poorly, it's actually conflicting with new card design. even though it's existed for a while. Like the new card design is falling victim to Ash, which was printed like almost 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that in of itself is a problem, which is why I'm saying we need a bit more of a newer like, I don't know, rehash of Ash in order to be able to say, you know what, Ash needs to just be put to rest now.
Okay. If Ash had saying, oh wait, no, actually, you had a point before Jimothy went on, Dan.
Yeah. The point I was going to make is I don't agree with the Maxi. If you think a Maxi should be banned, you think you should think Ash should be banned argument. That's something that I don't agree with necessarily.
If I caveat it with, if you disagree with Maxi mainly because of the going first thing, then it's the same thing as Ash. That's what I mean. Not so much the draw spot. But the point is, the reason why people didn't like Maxi wasn't so much that well, it was partially like, oh, going second is like I throw Maxi and you just lose. But actually it was starting to not be true in the OCG because a lot of decks can play through it. The problem was I make my board, then I chuck Maxi, like say try break my board now and give me a draw each time. That was what made it unfair. And it's the same thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also think there is a case where I'm in a scenario, I'm going second. My opponent's built a board. One scenario they have Maxi, the second scenario they have Ash. Ash is a 1-for-1 interaction. Like, I may be able to play around it, I may not be able to play around it. Right? You can't play around a Maxi. Unless, ironically, you draw Ash.
That's not true though, right?
Well, let me... Okay, so we go in second. We're trying to kill him in it. Like, go in second, you want to finish the game, get out there, or build a board that is going to be big enough for your opponent's break. If you can't kill him, there's no way you put in a strong enough board without giving your opponent 10 draws, which goes into, like, you know, they're not losing when they've had 10 draws going third. That's just categorically not true. Like, so if my opponent ashes me, maybe I can play around it. Maybe I can't. Like you can maybe like obviously this is all very variance dependent, whatever. But it's so much easier to kill an opponent for an Ash, like, and not feel the pressure of having to end the game there and then. I think is my argument.
What I'd say is, in a vacuum, that is true, but it's not true in the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Affairs. The current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Affairs is, if I go first, I win because I make infinite negates. And so that's where it changes. So it's like, if Yummy goes first and you didn't resolve your Charmy, you lose. You actually lose unless you're really lucky. There's no way you're beating Yummy board with 5 cards 95% of the time unless you open really well. It's just the truth, right? Because even if... the thing is, you don't think it's true. Maybe, I don't know. You don't think it's true.
I didn't say that I didn't think it's true.
Yeah.
I do think there is a level of... I don't like the infinite negates argument.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Oh, well, you don't think Yummy makes infinite negates, or...
I just don't think infinite negates exist anymore. Other than like the Sylvie Dragoon slop that we're getting now. That's the first
Let me change this hyperbole. When I'm saying infinite negates, it's not infinite negates, but my point is Yummy generates so much advantage going first. K9 generates so much advantage going first. Insert deck here that's top to YCS in the last like 3 months. Generates so much advantage going first that, meaningfully speaking, you're not breaking their board with 5 cards. It's just the truth. Like, most of the time you're not. You can sometimes if, like, let's say you open the Droplet and your opponent plays bad, or it's like you have certain things that are really good in the matchup. So for example, you open the Bell and it's like your opponent's sequence in a way that the only way to access Yummy combo is Yummy Surprise. It's like stuff like that. So that's the point where it's like, it's the same as the Maxi almost, where it's like, yeah, because I'm going second, your Ash did FDK me. It's the same thing as Maxi, right? It's Maxi of extra. That's my point, where it's like, it's basically the same, right?
Just to chip in, I agree, and I think one thing which kind of exacerbates the problem is the fact that 66% of your games you're siding. So imagine going into a game 2, you're going second, you've got 5 cards, your opponent draws all the stupid floodgates that they've sided in, or the kryptonite cards that they've sided in for going first, and then they have Ash on top of it. Like, that feels so frustrating to play against, when you need a Molchami just to have a chance at playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So even when you're looking at like some of the recent YCSs, the game 2s have been over like in like 3 or 4 minutes. Because they've done a couple of interactions, they've been hand trapped. The opponent's going seconds, been hand trapped by the player who went first, and they've just scooped it up. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that's not good. It's not good gameplay. It's not interactive Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a caveat, then I would ask you this: then, if we were to rework Ash, where it literally said, I don't know how the restriction would be more creative than this, but I'm in charge of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, and this I can't think of anything better than this. It just says you can't use this card going first on Ash. Do you in that scenario, would you be okay with that?
That's better card design. I will agree with you. That is better card design.
Because to be fair, I'd caveat that as well. That like I would be fine. I think Ash going. I think Ash is a bad card in terms of just it negates. I don't like that, but I'm okay, especially with a higher power level now. If that was the case, I'd say the biggest problem is really just going first. Like, you go first, and this card's just so obnoxious.
Truthfully speaking, I think all hand traps should be designed going second. 100%. Look at one of the first hand traps in the game, Veiler. You can only use that going second, innit?
Exactly. That's the weirdest thing. Like, this is what I was kind of alluding to before when I spoke about the bad card design thing. So this is a side topic, but Kill Tune can rip 3 cards from your extra deck right now. K9 Roy can look in your hand. Konami knows these are bad mechanics. They're not unsure. Like, we all went through Kashtira format. We were all there when Kashtira was doing shit like banishing cards and then like banishing the top of your deck. Like, no one likes your extra deck being ripped. We know looking in your hand is bad. We've all played against Aqua Dolphin. And it frustrates me when I know Konami knows that it's bad card design. They ban other cards that do it, and they just print new cards that can do it. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I know Konami knows how to make a good hand trap. Because I've seen them. They've made nib. Shifter even, by the way. I think Shifter, for the most part, is a very well-designed hand trap. I just think that the decks they're designing around Shifter are not designed very smartly.
That's fair.
But for some weird reason, Konami is like, they have this addiction to like, we fix the problem and then we bring the problem back 2 years to sell a set that doesn't even sell. So it frustrates me because I know they can solve this problem. Like, it's not that hard. Just stop releasing cards that are unfair, hand traps that are unfair to use when you're going first as well. But for some reason they won't.
Do you know what though? Like, I feel like unless they're broken on that level, they won't get played. So the card that comes to mind is Singularity Fiend.
Exactly. Oh, I love that card.
Exactly. Have you used that ever?
Never, not once.
This is what I'm saying. So like, unless it's on a level that you feel like it's gonna have some meaningful impact on the game, you're not gonna play it. Like,
I will treat this as a red herring because this is a bad card. This card says discard 2 to destroy 1 monster. I can't.
That's what you're about. It's a 0/0 fiend. You can revive it off spirit gates, man.
To be fair, yeah, I do agree.
Don't play the
There's
card.
an element of cards do need to be. No, you are right that a card needs to be broken, otherwise you won't use it. But that's only true insofar as if every other card in the game is broken, right? Or if a lot of other cards are broken. It is possible for them to release non-busted, non-engine, and people play it, right? Like it's possible. It just so happens that the problem is the game is oversaturated with broken non-engine. But I don't want to give Konami an excuse for their shitty card design where they just keep they've got a bad game state that they're refusing to fix. And so the justifications are just keep doing shit card design since we can't fix it anyway. Like, no, they can fix their game. It's not that hard. Like, yeah. Joshua Schmidt did it in 3 hours on stream by himself. Just went through the whole flipping ban list and he's like, get rid of this. And what we had at the end was pretty nice. So it's like, I don't even think it's that hard. They can do it.
Yeah.
I think that may be part of the reason why Genesis exists, if we want to go down a proper tinfoil hat rabbit hole. That theory was so good that it
The thing is, I don't play Genesis, but I thought I heard something recently about how Genesis isn't even balanced well, and apparently like Exodia is really good in it or something like that. I heard
but like that'll be tapped next list, like, because like I will say this with the Genesis stuff. Again, I don't keep up too much to it, but from what I know of it, like they update the set every time. They update the points every time there's a new set out. Which is pretty similar to Master Duel, I want to say. So there's always like, oh, you know, we're going to keep things in check. Let me not lie, to me that sounds long, because I don't want to be updating my list every month and like having to check through all these numbers, but I get why people like it.
Yeah, it's actually just modern game design. Like, if you play any other competitive game, you get patches all the time. Like, it's just, when you're playing League, it's like there's a patch every 2 weeks. Like, you just know, like, the format's gonna change. When I'm playing, like, I don't know, like Overwatch, it's like there's a patch every month or something. It's like Yugioh stuck in this archaic system. Well, only one format, TCG. I guess TCG and OCG is the same format, blah blah blah. But the point is, they're stuck in this weird thing where it's like Konami can only make changes every maybe 3 to 6 months if they feel like it. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I guess broadly speaking, then, so yeah, I don't know. Like, I still, I'm of the opinion that Ash should go. I think, again, just going first is too strong in Yu-Gi-Oh, and right now, Ash benefits to going first. That's where I sit personally on it. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, we're very divided. I feel like we're very divided on this point. Like, Andre's like very much in the middle.
Yeah.
Fabs is like, I banned this sick filth, and I'm like, I ain't that bad, man. Like, it's interesting to see like all the different viewpoints. 100%.
The funniest part is as well is right now I'm playing one of those obnoxious combo decks that loves having Ash going first. So like, it's interesting that this is my perspective. I'm playing White Forest right now. Right now, I don't want my opponent to play the game. My entire strategy is put up anti-spell and 2 Omni Negates, and you'll never put in a card on the field. So like, yes, I still want Ash. I still want that card.
Yeah, I think to put what's the phrase? To put it in a nutshell, that's not the phrase I'm thinking of, but anyway, I don't think Ash should be banned, but I can see a world where it is hit in some way, because I do think it does have enough power to warrant being hit at some point.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be opposed to a redesign either.
That's just retrain it, Konami. Just retrain it. Make Blossom in Unhappy Spring instead, and then it like it just can't use it on your first turn. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Konami, I don't want to work for you anymore, but I'll give you my ideas for free now. So just take my idea, man. It's not that hard to just rework and share that card, man. Oh dear, that card.
Jimothy, where's your final stance on it?
Yeah, I agree. Just leave it as is until we get a retrain. It's just as simple as that. Again, like Molchamis allow you both players to have some interactivity, and Ash just says no to that, and let your opponent build a board that just says no to you playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, let's get a retrain. Go in second only. Just like how the Molchamis are designed, it's just one line of text that resolves a lot of the issues. I mean,
if you control no cards in it.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean,
on a side note to this discussion, which is relevant though, is I do see a problem with the Molchamis right now though that I think needs to be addressed, and it's not so much the Molchamis, but Konami is designing more and more decks with turn 0 plays. Now, what makes Molchamis balanced is when I'm going first, I can't. What makes Molchamis balanced is the fact that like I'm gonna Molchami you, but it's like I'm going second, so I'm not really getting to play. I don't like decks like Dracotail and K9 right now that can Molchami you and then play on turn 0 as well. I think that's not fair as a going second player. It's one of the most ridiculous interactions. Yes, it is harder to go second than go first, but I already think Izuna is a badly designed interaction. I think Dracotail Famina is a balanced card, but I think the way it plays is badly designed. And it's really, really stupid how these decks can Molchami you and then play on your turn. It just makes no sense. Like, genuinely, like, I had it, so when I was testing, I had it happen a couple times where, my opponent would drop Molchami, drop Izuna, and that's like FTK, because they just get so much advantage. And I can't even play now. I can't play on my turn, but you can play on my turn. So I think, again, Konami needs to be really careful about how they design some of these turn. Like, I like decks having turn 0, but I've said it before, Rescue Ace Impulse is the best turn 0 interaction. That's how it should be. Like, I'm getting advantage for myself, but I'm not stopping you playing on turn 0. I'm just making my turn 2 a bit better. It shouldn't be I'm getting advantage for myself and I'm also potentially interrupting you. That's what the heck. That's just stupid. So yeah, they do need to be careful about that.
Would that effectively be the same as just Molchami and then drawing into like an Ash?
No, because Izuna is more broken than Ash in this specific instance. Okay. So it would be, it's like, don't get me wrong, like Molchami drawing into Ash is a necessary interaction, and if Izuna, or the example is Rescue Ace, if I'm playing Rescue Ace, I Molchami you, okay, you have to make a more conservative board probably, but then I Impulse, all that's really happening here is I'm getting an extra 1 or 2 cards, but I'm not actually stopping you from making your decision. But K9, for example, do you know what happens in this scenario? Do you know what they do? They summon Silent Honor, they summon the Shark card.
Yeah, nice.
So they fuck up your board.
Yeah.
And then on their turn, the first thing they do is they slap an Omni Negate on top of that halves your LP if you decide to do anything. That's where I think it's...
And it rips a card out your hand if you got any.
And it rips a card out your hand as well. So again, the problem is more cards like Izuna. Izuna is a terrible... The whole K9 archetype is bastardized and destroyed and stupid. Like, fuck off that whole... Left to me, bro, every card in that archetype would be at 1. Yeah, and no, I put his Rip at 0 and every other card at 1. Like, that whole archetype is so badly designed. It's so stupid. But specifically, the ability to play Molchami and play on turn 0, I don't think that's right. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I. Yeah. I do. I agree with the point that like my opponent drawing cards like off their turn 0 interaction. Like I'm not bothered about that. Like, is that because they're playing Rescue Ace? I don't know. Just because I know Rescue Ace is really good going first, then I've lost to Rescue Ace enough, but I know that they're stronger going first and second.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So yeah, but if Izuna just said summon it and then draw 2, discard 1, I'd be like, yeah, it's not, it's bad. But like getting a rank, yeah. I suppose, I suppose I do agree with that point. Then, perhaps to be fair, I suppose I do agree with that. Yeah. So in summarization, the best designed hand trap was the first one, which is the first one's Karibo probably, but
that was a bit.
They got it right with the Fake Veiler, and they've just fucked it up since.
Veiler, Imperm, Moonlit is good. What else? Nib is good.
Famously evenly matched, you could argue. It's not a hand trap, but
it's a funny thing. I've said it before. I don't think I've said it before. In case people don't know, Evenly is one of the worst cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. By the way, every time Evenly is good, It just means that like you're lucky. But Evenly is a very, very bad card. But I think its design is fine. Like that card is so terrible.
Oh man, this is going to be another debate point topic, man.
I don't think it is because it's. I can mathematically prove to you guys how bad Evenly is. So I don't think it will be. Like Evenly is a bad card. There's a reason why you don't really see Topic List playing that card. It's terrible. But,
Even is an example of a card that hasn't aged well. Like you don't want to give up sacrifice your battle phase to potentially clear like 4 cards off your opponent's field because they could just recover. Do you know what I mean?
The example I'll give to you is in the best case scenario where they have somehow 10 cards on board and none of them are Omni Negates. Evenly allows your opponent to go -9. Safe. Cupsy, Yummy, and Snake Ash go like +15. So great job. You gave all your battle phase, and they still did more with 1 card than you. So Evenly is not a good card, guys. Don't play Evenly in your decks. It's not worth it. It's terrible. Or if you're playing Evenly, it's only because you.
This is Rescue Ice player propaganda. This is.
In this case, game 2 and 3, you gotta go Evenly. Oh, lovely! I love that card. Flip Reinforce, Flip Reinforce, Alert, Flip Emergency, Safe. I've just put 7 cards in my hand. Oh, lovely! I like that.
Yeah, you had that ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we don't fear you. That card. But yeah,
Even is a contentious card for sure. But in terms of card design, I think the card design is fine.
Yeah, if you're giving up your battle phase, you deserve to banish my whole board. I think that's actually fair. Face down.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Before we get into the intricacies of card design a little bit more, I do want to chat a little bit before we sign off, just about the point about the Overframe collection that's releasing. Well, it's released as of now in the OCG because the Yu-Gi-Oh are tapping into what appears to be a market that Pokemon and One Piece have just like cornered for a long time. I don't know if anyone knows about this. There's a card called Dark Magical Curtain. I've got a proxy here because my friend plays Dark Magician. This isn't the Overframe version. This is just like I don't know if you can tell, but it's just got a nice picture of Dark Magician Girl on it in all her glory. There's an Overframe version that's very, very, sparkly, and she's popping out, and it's waifu bait.
The curtain is like 10% of the picture.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just in the corner, like hello. But yeah, there's serialized rares for people who don't know. There's like you can get a regular Overframe art rare, and then like the Starlight equivalent, and there's like these ultra mega super hyper like chase 1 of 100, and they're numbered. And I don't know if it was the number 1, but it sold for the UK equivalent of around £15,000.
Yeah, I said that.
Which is crazy. And I know that one with one of the Dark Magician ones, the Retrain Monster, sold for a similar sort of price with the serialized numbers. Now, because these are like 1 of 100 stuff, like I don't know how they're going to incorporate this into the TCG. But what do you guys think about it? Like from a player perspective, or from the perspective of a Yu-Gi-Oh fan in general, I suppose.
I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I've never had any interest in the anime or anything, but I think it's good. Konami should have been doing this. I think it's cool for. So yeah, again, I'm on the side of where I have no interest in Yu-Gi-Oh as an anime. I'm not a collector at all, so I have no demand for it myself. I will never spend. I can't. The only way I would ever spend money on a card like that is if it was cheaper than the common or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really cool. Konami should have been doing this. This is really good for the game. Yeah.
I think they've timed it well. Well. In a sense where there was a bit of discourse in the community about collectability of cards, and they've just hit us with the most collectible item you could ever imagine. Do you know what I mean? They've blasted the reprints with the rarity collection. Like every card is just almost become like, I wouldn't say worthless, but inexpensive. And then they just said, bam, right, Overframe, go. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was quite clever of them. I think they always had that in their bag. And to be honest, they should have done this a while ago, because I think as a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, as someone who watched the original anime, like I think they've done well and they look sick. So this should have been a no-brainer from a while ago, but I think there's some purpose behind why it's coming out now and why we're talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Which is probably their objective.
Yeah. Do you guys think there'll be a similar sort of like I hate calling it this, but the Logan Paul effect? like with Yu-Gi-Oh, with when these overthrown cards come out into the TCG.
What do you mean by that?
So, for the people who don't know, at the start of COVID, Logan Paul opened a base Pokemon set, which restarted essentially the whole Pokemon boom. And then it's just kind of climbed from there. And obviously, Pokemon being the biggest franchise in the world, like put the rest together and like, okay, we're going to make this like collectible, like even more so. So they've got like, I don't play Pokemon in it, but I've spoken to people who do play Pokemon. And to my understanding, Pokemon to play competitively is very, very, very cheap. But if you want to collect stuff, it can get very, very, very expensive. And I know that Logan Paul has recently done a similar thing with One Piece, because to my understanding, they have similar like chase full art cards, and the market for that for collectability just seems to have gone nuclear as well. I don't know how expensive One Piece is to play, but I imagine that it has, you know, probably not that expensive compared to
Yu-Gi-Oh. Like you can get like a meta deck for like 100, 150.
Okay, so that's pretty like standard, like for TCGs. Yeah, do you guys think it will reignite sort of like, you know, you can't buy Yu-Gi-Oh booster packs anywhere, like that kind of thing? Like we'd be having scalpers and everything. Like, do you think that's going to happen?
No, I think that the Yu-Gi-Oh market is very.
It's a player's game, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's harder. Like I can imagine there being some buzz. Don't get me wrong, for sure, but I think the Yu-Gi-Oh market, if anything, it's hard to shift product. And so, like, I'd be surprised if we flipped all the way. Like, it probably will increase demand a bit, but I don't think so. Maybe, but I couldn't see that happening personally.
Initially, I think there's going to be a bit of a boom, but it's just how Konami decides to handle it. Because I feel like it was very similar up until like Rarity Collection got printed, and then the value of cards as a whole kind of went down, and there was a lot of discourse about how much cards are worth, and Konami's reprinting things too often. So if they start reprinting overframes, then they're doing lot overframes, and then they're doing alternative art overframes, and it loses its luster. So then that whole market then collapses. But if they're just saying, all right, this is just a one-time run, this is how we're going to run it, which I don't think they will. That's the only way that it will have that kind of effect where people are like just like beating people up in Asda, and do you know what I mean, fighting over cards and that kind of thing.
To my understanding, overframes are going to replace or maybe be alongside Starlights in core sets. How the serialized thing will work, I genuinely have no idea. I don't know if that'll be incorporated in Rarity 5. I don't know if it'll be a specific set like that'll have those. I don't know. But I do agree with what you're saying, Andre, definitely. I think if they're truly intending to make them collectible, then they can't reprint them like out the wazoo.
Konami already doesn't even. It's almost like the game's already kind of like that now, right? Like they already kind of hold reprints and shit. That's why I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. This is probably the cheapest time it's ever been to pick up a staple collection for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like in bottom rarity, you can probably drop like £100 and get nearly every staple you could ever want. To be honest,
so I'm actually real well positioned for this because obviously I recently got back in, and so right now I have 2 decks. Basically, I have more, but I have 2 decks right now. One is White Forest, one is branded, and to buy staples that were playable probably cost me about 70, 80 for everything. And then the decks themselves, White Forest, I got the whole core for £50. Branded was however much 3 structure decks was. And then like I've spent more than that on other stuff, but it's almost like almost everything that I've bought, it's pretty cheap. Like there's just not even like Impulse, for example. Like I bought Impulse, I wasn't up to date with sets when I was buying, so I didn't realize I was getting reprinted. But even when I bought Impulses, they were like 10 each or something. Like it was really cheap. Well, it might be 10 each, but like so it is actually really cheap to get into the game. And what's nice is before, the gap between the cheap meta deck and the meta deck was huge. Now, if you buy 3 branded structure decks, you have a deck that is tier 2. If you spend another
100 on
like,
400 white Ecclesia, for example.
Spend like another 100 or so, you now have one of the best decks in the format, which is really, really cool. Same with Magnet Warriors if you buy that. So it's actually quite cheap to get into the game their staples aren't obnoxiously expensive like they were before.
Yeah, I think this is you know when people like this is a little bit of a gripe, but you know when people put like top budget decks under £100 and they're just talking about the cores. I think now is probably like a really good time where you can actually buy a pretty decent deck core with a full extra deck and side deck and like all the staples. You probably are looking at that ball point if we're using arguments such as like Magnet Warriors and Blue Eyes and what have you. Which is a good thing. Which can only be a good thing.
Magnet Warriors, White Forest, branded to an extent. You can get a lot of like, I don't know, you can get a lot of Exorcist, not all of Exorcist, but you can get a lot of Exorcist.
Sky Striker and Mitsurugi as well.
Yeah, Sky Striker and Mitsu. Like all of these decks, you can, again, if you, and again, I always say this as well with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I had it, playing other hobbies has like changed my opinion of expenses and stuff. But for Yu-Gi-Oh! And how much value you will get out of playing, you don't actually have to spend that much now. Like, again, you can spend £200 or £250 and you're good for like 6 months at minimum. And if you're lucky, way longer than that because sometimes Konami just won't hit the deck. So if you, all the people who got Mitsurugi right now are smiling, man. They've got the biggest smiles on their faces because their deck has lasted like 1,000 years of Mitsurugi. But yeah, like you definitely have like a wow. Whereas again, airsoft is another hobby I got into, and that shit's like £300 a month or something stupid. Wow. Like BBs and like, oh no, £300 a month is a lot, but let's say like it's more like £150 a month. I'd say on like all the BBs and all the things, then going to events and stuff. So it's actually not so bad.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it, Jimothy. Like just in terms of the accessibility of like staples and stuff. I understand this has gone on a bit of a tangent. But just as someone who has said, like, you know, they don't want to put, you know, all of their disposable income into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like what do you think about it? Because I feel like in the amount of time you played, you've probably seen like the decline of like how much staples cost, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think like this is me personally. Like, there's no point. I think I don't invest into cards as much as someone who's probably arguably more competitive, just because the predictability of me going to events is unpredictable. So I just tend not to buy cards. But like if I really wanted to push a deck, like I don't feel like I'm burning myself by spending like, I don't know, 60 quid on a couple of staples. Do you know what I mean? And it's quite easy to do that, and that's more so the newer cards. Or the older cards, they've just been reprinted. Like, they're just very accessible. And for someone who builds a lot of decks, which is probably what we're gonna have a conversation about in the next episode, someone who builds a lot of decks, that's great for me, because I'll just get common ashes and put them into my pet deck, and you know what I mean, play on my kitchen table. So I think it's really good in that respect. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do agree. So it's always a good thing if cards are cheaper. You just get more people playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And to tie it back into the overframe thing, I do hope that if it does become a situation where people are buying products en masse to try and pull these mad rarities, it will drive the prices of the competitive cards down, because collectors will just be like, oh, this is rubbish. And then you've got a player who's, oh, what are you about? This is a common Dominus Impulse. I'll have this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do hope that if it does become like the Pokemon effect, that is the case.
Yeah.
That would be best.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've just gone over that hour mark. I had a really good time this episode. Actually, a lot of interesting discussions. It'll be interesting to see what people think. But if you guys are disagree with us, drop it in the chat and tell us how you think Evenly Match is a good card, and then I can respond to you in the comments.
If you have anything else, any other points that you'd like us to discuss as well, please drop it in the comments. Like, we're trying to make this debate thing a thing in like near every other episode. So it'd be interesting to get a lot of nice little stockpile of things to talk about.
Yes, for sure. So yes, thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.